Hey, bye Felicia! What is going on, everybody? Still sermon in the house. Thursday night, another video for you guys. Do me a favor, hit the hell out of that like button, hit the hell out of that subscribe button, and follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted in the box down below. You want to know how the Pittsburgh Steelers can get off to a good start in 2023? Here it is right here. Now, I'm not going to jinx anything. I'm not going to come on here and say that this is actually confirmed. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen. But I've seen reports and I have seen speculation that the Pittsburgh Steelers are expected to fire Matt Canada after this season. That's how you get off to a good start for 2023. I guess Mr. Rooney, that's Art Rooney, and by the way, may his son John rest in peace. That's terrible news, but looks like Art Rooney's been watching my channel a bit because I said that me, along with a lot of other Steeler fans, have been saying this franchise is going to go nowhere as long as they keep being stagnant and as long as they keep being complacent. And this is a really good first step. Matt Canada is expected to be fired after the 2023 season. So, Matt, don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. Matt, I will hold the door open for you. Get out of Pittsburgh, baby. That college offense, that conservative play calling, that bland, vanilla, uncreative offense that's predictable and bland and gets eaten up by every single defense in the league, we don't need that here. Plain and simple. Because you take a look at who the Steelers have on offense, we got good players. You know, George Pickens has turned in a pretty solid rookie season. Deontay Johnson, you know, we paid him $18 million for him to be a number one receiver, and he's had a very disappointing year. Calvin Austin's been injured all year, and if he is good, if he's healthy to play next year, I have no doubt that he can be a solid receiver for us. We got Pat Freiermuth at tight end. We got Najee Harris in the backfield. We got a surprise stud in Jaylen Warren, who him and Najee Harris want so badly to form a running back by committee type of offense. So, and then of course you got the big one. You got Kenny Pickett, who has so much potential to be the franchise quarterback of this team. And I see it every week with this guy. He plays with ice in his veins. He plays with courage. He plays with determination. And he plays to win. We see it with Kenny Pickett. Now we know the problem. It's not Kenny Pickett. It's Matt Canada that's holding this guy back. Because we know what kind of player that Kenny Pickett is. And he is never going to succeed as long as this clown is our offensive coordinator. Because sure, our offense wasn't expected to be top 10 this year. I don't think anyone's denying that. But when I see that we average 4.9 yards per pass this year, only 264 total points on the year, and okay, a respectable 53.3% in the red zone and a 42.4% on third down. Those aren't terrible, those two right there. They're respectable, but they definitely could be better. But 17 points per game, dead last in, I believe we're dead last in rush yards, dead last in pass offense, 29th in total offense. We should not be ranked this low offensively, but we are because of that stooge up there, that shiny, bald-headed Mr. Clean-looking stooge up there in the press box. He's calling the same bland offense every single week. And we're expected to fire this guy. At least I've heard reports and rumors that we're expected to fire him. So, we come into 2023... a fresh start on offense. Kenny Pickett has a whole offseason to learn the offense, whole training camp to learn the offense, a couple of preseason games to learn the offense, and I think Kenny Pickett is going to look a lot better next year than he did this year. Granted, I know he was a rookie this year. He made rookie mistakes, which we all expected him to do, but this guy is progressing week after week. This past Saturday, it was his first interception that he threw since the game in Philadelphia. You give this guy a new offensive coordinator, I think he's going to look a lot better. Now, with that being said, there are a couple of candidates that I would like, that I think are really good for replacing Matt Canada. And I'm not talking about Mike Sullivan. No more in-house promotions. And I ain't talking about the Mike Sullivan from the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm talking about Mike Sullivan, our quarterbacks coach. Because we all know that Art Rooney loves his in-house promotions. And I have the biggest fear in the world that this guy's going to be our next OC. That cannot happen. Because we promote this guy to OC, it's going to be the same offense. I'm telling you that right now. But I'm talking about outside the organization. I mean, you brought in Brian Flores last winter for a defensive assistant. So go outside the box here. Couple of candidates. Philly's quarterback coach. I think his name is Brian Johnson. Another famous name. Not talking about AC/DC singer Brian Johnson. I'm talking about the Eagles quarterbacks coach, Brian Johnson. Look at what he's done with Jalen Hurts. Look at what he's doing with Gardner Minshew. I think this guy can work very well with Kenny Pickett, and I think that he can definitely fix up this offense and come up with some creative schemes to benefit both Kenny Pickett and Najee Harris. So that's a guy. The second guy, Miami's quarterback coach. I don't remember his name, but Miami's quarterback coach. I think he would be a good fit here too, because everyone was criticizing Tua Tagovailoa. And he made Tua have a good season. The problem is Tua just can't stop getting concussions. This guy is very well known for working with young quarterbacks. And Kenny Pickett's going to be 25 next year. Still relatively young in the eyes of the NFL. Still relatively young in the for being a quarterback. Okay, I'm just a couple years older than Kenny Pickett. He's going to be 25. He's still classified as a young quarterback. And I think that you bring in Miami's quarterback coach, I think he'll be able to work very well with Kenny Pickett. Next guy, under the Kyle Shanahan branch, would be San Francisco's quarterback coach. I think this guy would work very well. He's worked with 3 quarterbacks over there in San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy. And I'm gonna list those 2 names that I just missed. I can't think of them at the top of my head, but I would love San Francisco's quarterbacks coach here too. Again, under the Kyle Shanahan tree. Kyle Shanahan's a good defensive-minded coach, but he also has a really good offensive mind. I wouldn't mind him here at all, and I think that he could work good with the entire offense. But the number one guy that I would love to have here in Pittsburgh, this guy's like my favorite. This guy is the guy that I personally want the most. But any one of those 3 guys, I wouldn't mind at all either. But my number one candidate that I want to replace Matt Canada personally, Frank Reich. This guy did so much for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017. He made Carson Wentz of all people, look like an MVP quarterback. He transformed Philly's offense into a machine. He had a respectable offense when he was Indianapolis' head coach. And this guy is a very good hard worker with quarterbacks because he was a quarterback himself. And for those older fans than me, you may know him very well for being known as Chill Factor 14 when he played for the Buffalo Bills in the early 90s. How do you know that? Well, he was the very quarterback that conducted, at the time, the largest comeback in NFL history, the 35-3 game between the Buffalo Bills and the then Houston Oilers back in the 93 playoffs. He was the quarterback that conducted it, and he was a backup. And is it any coincidence that Frank Reich, with him being a backup quarterback and him being a quarterback's coach, that he was able to win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles being a backup quarterback with the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't think that's a coincidence at all. I think this guy would work so well with Kenny Pickett. I think he can come up with great offensive game plans for us. He may not be the best head coach, But more often than not, bad head coaches make good coordinators. And bad coordinators sometimes make good head coaches. This guy is not the best head coach, but I think he is a really good coordinator. And I think he would work very well with this young offense that we have. Like I said, any one of those other three guys, I would love here. I wouldn't mind at all. But if you ask me, my personal number one guy to replace Matt Canada is Frank Reich. But yeah, these are just rumors. These are speculation. Again, I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to come on here and say that this is happening for sure. But there are rumors, Steeler fans. There are rumors. Matt Canada probably will not be here anymore after this 2022 season, regardless if we make the playoffs or not, which I don't anticipate us making the playoffs. But there is a distinct possibility that that can be the case. Matt Canada, arrivederci. But get out of here, man. Seriously. There's the door. Get out of Pittsburgh. You don't even deserve to take the Greyhound. Go on down to Sheetz and start pumping some gas. And that'll do it for this video. This is Steel Sermon. Check it on out for the night. May God be with you all.